Good morning. We're going to take just a few minutes of settling in and taking a few deep breaths and becoming fully present. So when you hear this chime, just take a breath and feel yourself be fully present. Allow this breath to become deeper and deeper still. Maybe a little sigh. Sometimes a breath that you can hear, a sigh that you can hear, is a beautiful gift you can give yourself and the world. So good morning. Welcome to breathe the breath of life this morning, which is the topic. The theme for the year is 2020 Spiritual Vision, and for June, the theme is mindfulness for mavericks. To breathe the breath of life. What I want to talk about today is, if you're watching the news, and even if you aren't watching the news, you know that there's a revolution happening. Evolution into revolution, revolution into evolution. A new world order is being birthed and old structures are breaking down. And you and I are the ones to make that happen. So my name is Frankie Timmers, and I'm the Spiritual Director at Center for Spiritual Living Morristown in beautiful historic Morristown, New Jersey. We teach the science of mind philosophy, which was founded by Dr. Ernest Holmes. If you want to know more about us, please find us on the website www.cslmorristown.org. If you're here today, I'm so glad you're with me. I feel you here in the room with me and in my heart. Thank you for visiting. And let us know you're here. Where are you from? And what you're thinking and what you need. And if you have questions that I can weave into talks in the future. And use the little bubbles. Now that there's a new one of care, you can have an extra one. And just tag someone. Let someone know that we're here on the internet, that because people from all over the world are able to watch, and I know we have some people from Europe, so good afternoon. And invite others to visit our website and to be part of this weekly broadcast. This is going to be rebroadcast on YouTube and of course on Facebook Live, so anybody can watch it anytime, and you're welcome to share. So, to breathe the breath of life, I want to start by reading a statement that our mother organization, Centers for Spiritual Living, has written. It was done by the Spiritually Motivated Social Engagement Committee. So take a breath and join me in knowing this truth. Racism in the United States. Centers for Spiritual Living calls for it to end. We are grieving lives that ought not to have been lost. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmaud Arbery are the most recent in a list of countless unarmed African American and Black people who have been murdered for the color of their skin over the past 400 years in the United States. Too many generations have suffered, and it has never been and is not now acceptable. We denounce racism in all its forms, the starkness of unapologetic intentional racism, the racism of silence in the face of injustice, the systematic racism inherent in our education, justice, income, and opportunity inequity, and the racism that lies hidden in our individual hearts and minds. We envision a world where personal responsibility joins with social conscience in every area of the political, corporate, academic, and social sectors. We value a community-wide climate of safety that arises from compassion, justice, mutual respect, and kindness. Therefore, we join our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, who, echoing the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., said, "You and I should form the habit of taking definite time each day to contemplate and affirm peace with justice. For there is no peace possible without justice. But faith without works is dead. We should not only pray, we should act, each contributing the best they have to the common purpose, each willing to make any sacrifice necessary, for there can be no individual self-preservation without the preservation of all." We call upon ourselves and the faith communities in the United States to take action that shows we have heard the cry of suffering and we own our responsibility for it. Whether that action is prayer, donations to organizations that promote racial justice, rigorous self-education, or active engagement, let not this moment in history pass unattended. May the actions we take be steeped in peace and respect for the sacredness of each, knowing that whatever we do individually and collectively must be divinely directed from a higher consciousness. When we apply our proven spiritual principles through rigorous practices and compassionate action, the desired results cannot fail to demonstrate. So take another breath. Yes. So today I want to talk about really being on a spiritual path. And those of us who really are on the spiritual path are part of the healing that wants, needs, and is taking place on the planet. And how when we take a breath, it's not just our breath, it's a breath we take for everyone, including our earth. And we talk about treat and move your feet so that we put action behind our spiritual practices, asking the question, what is mine to do, mine to be in every moment? And so if you are listening, if you are watching this right now, I have a sense, a notion that you are not a traditional person, that you were not born in this spiritual philosophy or in a metaphysical tradition, or at least very few of you, and that you probably have felt different all your life, maybe a feeling of not belonging, and that you maybe searched for many years to find a spiritual practice, a spiritual teaching that made you feel like home. Maybe you have family and friends that look at you and say, "Who are you? You're not one of us," whether that is from love or from discrimination. Many of us are non-conformists. Many of us are radical in our thinking. We're free spirits, we're renegades, and maybe even misfits. We are the mavericks. I love what Dr. Edward Viljoen says in the Science of Mind magazine this month. A maverick is a person who thinks and acts freely and independently, often quite differently from the expected or usual way. They do this not to be disruptive, but because they have an idea for life that lies outside of the group mind. Science of Mind teaches us to rise above group norms, to think independently, and to mindfully rely only on our permanent immersion in what Ernest Holmes calls the thing itself. Freedom to create, to freedom to think creatively, and to question if the way of the group is the way we wish to go. All hallmarks of being a metaphysician. In today's fast-paced world of social media, influencers, and trends, we must be mindful of what we allow to shape us. Rather than go to the way prescribed for us by others, let us nurture and appreciate the maverick within, which is not and cannot be defined by the world. And so, growing up in the Netherlands, I was reading all this wisdom at a very early age, secretly. I then traveled because I was searching for a way to discover, live, and express my free-spiritedness. I was kind of a gypsy, a bohemian, a hippie, a free spirit from the beginning. And so I arrived in the United States, which was not my intention. This is not where I wanted to be. But I think the universe wanted me to be here. And then I discovered the Science of Mind philosophy in the early 80s, and I realized I was home. This is what I believed. And so it was the spiritual teaching that brought me here. But what I know, as you probably know, is that you can run, but you cannot hide. You cannot hide from anything. And many times we run because we don't want to face what we need to face, or we're too young, or we just don't know. And so that's where the healing work comes in. And healing simply means wholing, W-H-O-L-I-N-G. To become whole, to live from our inherent wholeness. And that's an individual thing, but it's also collective because it's all one. The individual is not separate from the collective. The me is the we. And the most dangerous way of thinking is to say the me is not part of the we. The me is not we. It's feeling separate, thinking separate, and thinking that the outer and other is separate from us. That's the most dangerous way of thinking. It creates a divide, a sense of separation. And so today we say the world seems to be on fire. All structures seem to be breaking down because they must break down in order for there to be a new world order. So whether that's racism, any kind of discrimination, wars, any human rights abuses, political divide, the abuse of our beautiful planet, which we now call ecocide, climate change, all of it is the we. I can say, oh, that's not me because I recycle. That's not me because I'm not a racist. That's not me because I don't discriminate. Yes, you do. If you live in this world today, you are part of the problem and the solution. Because there's only the oneness of all life. So what I see, hear, feel, think, witness is a part of my consciousness in the oneness of all life. And so when I see or hear, I can't breathe, that's me. I am the George Floyd. I am the policeman who killed him. I am all those who are suffering. I am all those who are oppressed. I am all those who are being abused. I am all those who are broken. I am all those who are suffering. And so on the spiritual path, I have an even greater responsibility to be conscious, to be aware, to be present, to pay attention to my breath. Where do I hold my breath? Where can I not breathe? Where is my breathing shallow? Because that is indicative of what is mine to heal, what is mine to do, what is mine to live. What is happening to you, to everyone is happening to my brothers and sisters, to my human family, and it's not okay. And so let me read this from Llewellyn Vaughan Lee's book, Spiritual Power, How It Works, which is sort of my Bible at the moment. Over the last decades, you hear that? Over the last decades, the world has been gradually prepared for an evolutionary shift. Increasingly, there is an awareness of global unity, and that only through recognizing the interdependence of all life can our present ecosystem survive. At the same time, in this post-truth era, we are facing the divisive forces of tribalism, nationalism, isolationism, and all the other regressive forces that express me rather than we. We are moving to the consciousness of oneness. That's what's happening. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It invites us to heal any sense of separation within. And we're here. We're alive now. We're on the spiritual path because we're the ones called to be a part of it. That's our legacy. Joseph Campbell says this, where you stumble, there lies your treasure. Where I stumble lies my treasure. And so I must discover my treasure. I must then share my treasure. I must get out of the way, or get everything out of the way, so that I can share my treasure. So I think you and I agree that there's room for healing, right? I'd love to know if any of you feel that there's no room for healing. It's all good. It's all well. Could be spiritual bypass or your blind spot, right? But I think we all agree that there's room for healing. And sometimes it can be overwhelming. It can make us hold our breath. But it's in taking a breath that we shift and move, that something changes within us. That's the beginning. And so the question is, do you see where there's room for healing? If you see there's room for healing, then what is yours to be, do, act, participate in? Or are you waiting? Are you waiting for someone else to do it? Are you waiting for there to be a new president, a new government, and a new normal? We cannot wait. We don't have the luxury of waiting. It must happen now, because now is the only moment. And so healing is wholing, W-H-O-L-I-N-G, which means to make whole. To not see separation, and where we see separation, to make the healing be within so that it can fall into the outer. It's no more separating, knowing that the me is the we and the we is the me. And that as a maverick, me and you, I and you, as mavericks, we have a huge responsibility. Sometimes we have to be more forgiving to those who are unconscious. But those of us who are conscious, who are on the spiritual path, we have a radical responsibility. We have a revolutionary responsibility to be conscious, to take risks, to be scared and do it anyway, to take opportunities for healing, to be the healing presence where it's needed the most, to see and know and believe in infinite possibility, and to act from that. Instead of just watching, we can bring something so powerful and so alive that the healing happens so quickly. We are the ones to establish a new world order where there is justice for all, equality for all, safety for all, love for all, and the remembrance that life is sacred, and that all this justice, equality, safety, love is real with a capital ER, and it's real for everyone. It must become real for everyone. And so we heal what's in the way. We notice what's in the way. And you know what? If you don't know what's in the way, ask someone. Ask a friend. Ask a loved one. Ask someone of a different color than you. Ask someone of a different race than you. Ask someone of a different cultural background. Ask a neighbor. Have the courage to ask. I ask my friends often, do you notice I have any blind spots? I even asked some of my African American brothers and sisters this week, what is my blind spot that you notice? It's powerful. I've asked that question most of my spiritual path. Often people don't even want to answer it, but I want to know because I don't know them. They're my blind spots. And so then having compassion for our own experience is important. Knowing the me is the we and having compassion for everyone is important. I recently spoke to an Asian sister of mine who was weeping because when she's out in public, people spit at her. Since the virus came to be, she was spat on because she brought the virus into this country. She was born and raised here, and so were her parents, was her grandparents who immigrated from China to escape oppression. What a brave act. And so if that happens to someone, it's happening to me, and I get to be part of the healing. And it starts with one breath. One breath, a moment of silence, an awareness that what is mine to do and mine to be is an action. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens in the world, how I show up in the world. And I know that's different for all of us. And all differences get to be honored. So start with one breath and ask, what is mine to do? And then listen until you hear and go do that. Don't wait. What is mine to be? Take a breath. Listen until you hear and be that. And at the same time, do the work of dissolving what's in the way. We cannot afford anymore to have it be a story or an excuse or a fear. It wants to be healed because you and I are called to be a healing presence in the world that is now happening. It's a revolution, and you and I are mavericks. We're free spirits. We get to participate in creating the new world order. So there's a couple of things I want to tell you now that are happening at our center, and then I will close with a healing treatment. And I will see some of you as we do a Zoom goodbye for two of our members who have moved to Vermont, Cindy Odell and Rosemary Dorian. We'll see you soon. So the call to action is for you to get involved. If you're not sure, write me, email me, text me, call me, and I will help guide you. Go to our website, visit us on YouTube, become a subscriber, share our YouTube talks, visit us on Twitter, Meetup, Instagram, Facebook, all that. And right now on Wednesdays we have Spirit Tea Time from 6:30 to 8, Jersey time. Come and visit. It's like a taizé, a healing celebration. And on Saturdays, I'm doing your treatment hour. If you'd like to be a part of that, it's on Zoom. Just come visit and I will treat for you for anything. We will treat together. And if you want to know more, just let us know. We're here to serve you. If you want to support our work, go to our website, cslmorristown.org. There's a place that says give, and just give and support who we are and what we're doing. We welcome all of your gifts. And now let's close with a healing treatment, which is our word for affirmative prayer. As I take a breath and I say I, my, me, mine, I speak from and to the divine self in each and every one of us. It's the oneness of all life that connects us all. In this one breath, I remember whose I am, what I am. I am pure spirit in physical form. And I am in physical form now because I am called to be a healing presence in the world. My way of being a healing presence is so unique because I am an individualized expression of the one, but I simply have to ask myself or anyone else, anyone that's suffering, what is mine to do, what is mine to be, and I shall know. Today I trust and know that I have everything I need to be the healing presence in the world, to feel my inherent wholeness and live from it, to allow any healing that still needs to take place behind the scenes, and to dissolve any blind spots. I am the celebration that life is calling me to be now and here, not some future. And I'm excited about knowing that healing is possible and that equality for all is available right now, simply by remembering that I am we and we are we is I, and that in the oneness of all life, everything already exists to demonstrate the highest and best. And so I don't just treat, I move my feet and am grateful to shed, to spread, to share the love that is already within me as a healing force. I turn this over to universal law, knowing it's already making it beautiful and perfectly manifest for my and everyone else's highest and best. And so it is. And so it shall forever be. I love you. Thank you for joining us. Have a beautiful day.